Hey everybody out there in Periscope land. I am periscoping live for the GOP debate. Okay, so Ben Carson is talking now. Okay, what they're talking about now is Cruz had sent out an email to the captains in the Iowa caucus about Ben Carson suspending his campaign. Hey, who just joined me? I'm watching the GOP debate, and I actually need a speaker so that you all can see what I'm responding to. Ted Cruz is responding now to why he sent out that email saying that Ben Carson suspended his campaign. And oh, wow, Ted Cruz just apologized on national TV. Now he's giving an excuse. But will you do me a favor and this speaker? Okay, fact checkers. I don't remember CNN saying breaking news saying that Ben Carson suspended his campaign. I watch CNN 24 hours a day and I did not see that. But, but why was it his responsibility to send it to the Iowa caucuses? Okay, you apologize, but you shouldn't have did that. Let's see.
Put out a statement saying that he was not suspending his campaign. I wish that our campaign staff had forwarded that statement. They were unaware of it. I wish that they had. That's why I apologize. Senator Cruz, thank you. We're going to move on here. Back to issues.
Since I was mentioned,
Dr. Carson, please.
this is great. You guys, I want you to all mention me when you say something. In fact, the timeline indicates that initial tweet. Unclear. But the bottom line is, we can see what happened. Everybody can see what happened, and you can make your own judgment.
Dr. Carson, thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Senator Rubio, I want to stay on the issue of readiness to be president and experience, and questions about you being a first-term senator. Governor Christie warning voters here in New Hampshire against voting for another first-term senator, as America did with Barack Obama in 2008, arguing that you are, quote, not ready to be president of the United States. And Senator Santorum, who we all know dropped out of the race just this week and endorsed you, had a hard time when asked on national television listing your accomplishments as senator. Tonight, what are your accomplishments in the Senate that demonstrate you're ready to be president of the United United States?
Well, let me say, from protecting the people of Florida from eminent domain abuse, to bringing accountability to the VA, to the Girls Count Act, to sanctioning terrorist groups, I'm proud of my service in the United States Senate and before that in the Florida legislature.
Okay,
I will say,
named
if
3
politics becomes and the presidency becomes about
things
electing
that he
the people who have been in
accomplished.
Congress or in
The
the Senate the
question
longest, we
is,
should all rally around Joe Biden. He's been around 1,000 years. He's passed hundreds of bills, and I don't think any of us believe Joe Biden should be president of the United States. And let's
hello,
dispel
who's
once and for all
joining me?
with this fiction that Barack Obama
Let me
doesn't
see
know what
some
he's doing.
hearts.
He knows exactly what he's
I
doing.
missed your name.
Barack Obama is undertaking
But I'm
a
watching
systematic
the,
effort to change this country,
the
to make
GOP
America
debate.
more like the rest of the world.
And,
That's why he passed Obamacare and the stimulus and Dodd-Frank and a deal with Iran. It is a
Rubio is
systematic effort to
answering the
change
question
America.
as to,
When I'm president of the United States, we are going to re-embrace all
they
the
asked you
things
about
that
your
made
record,
America the
not
greatest
what you're
nation in
going to
the
do,
world,
what
and we
you
are going
have
to leave our
done.
children what they deserve.
That's what they
The
asked.
single greatest nation in the history of the world.
Senator Rubio,
That's my
thank you.
dog. I think that's the pizza.
I do want to ask Governor Christie. Governor Christie, you said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. When it comes to electing a first-term senator, you heard Senator Rubio make the case that he does have the experience. Your response?
Sure. First, let's remember something. Every morning when a United States Senator wakes up, they think about what kind of speech can I give or what kind of bill can I drop. Every morning when I wake
Chris
up, I
Christie
think
is
about
speaking.
what kind of problem do I need to solve for the people who actually elected me. It's a different experience.
I think this
It's a
is
much
better
different
than
experience. And
live
the
tweeting.
fact is, Marco, you
Because
shouldn't
when I
compare yourself to
tweet,
Joe
I
Biden.
try to concentrate
And
on
you
what
shouldn't say
I'm
that that's what we're doing. That's
typing,
exactly what we're doing. You
and
have not been involved
this
in a
gives me the
consequential
opportunity to
decision where you had to be held
respond
accountable. You
immediately.
just simply haven't. And the fact is,
Okay, wait a minute, what did he say?
when we talk about Hezbollah Sanctions Act that you list as one of your accomplishments you just did, you weren't even there to vote for it. That's not leadership, that's truancy.
I need 2 pennies.
The fact is that what we need to do,
It's 43
what we
cents.
need to have in this country is not to make the same mistake we made
I need
years
2
ago.
pennies.
The fact is, it does matter when you have to make decisions to be held accountable for it. It does matter when the challenges don't come on a list of a piece of paper of what to vote yes or no every day. But when the problems come in from the people that you serve, I like Marco Rubio, and he's a smart person and a good guy. But he simply does not have the experience to be president of the United States and make these decisions. We've watched it happen, everybody. For the last 7 years, the people of New Hampshire are smart. Do not make the same mistake again.
Let me respond. I was mentioning Senator Rubio.
Okay, Marco Rubio. They're talking about how young he is and that he doesn't have the experience.
It's not just what he did, but
Because
how it
he's a
worked out.
first-term senator.
Under Chris Christie's governorship of New Jersey, they've been downgraded 9 times in their credit rating. This country already has a debt problem.
Okay, sorry
We don't
y'all.
even
Y'all
add
hear
to it by
my
electing
dog
someone
in
who
the
has
background.
experience at running up and destroying the credit rating of the state. But I would add this. Let's dispel with this fiction that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. He is trying to change this country. He wants America to become more like the rest of the world. We don't want to be like the rest of the world. We want to be the United States of America. And when I'm
Okay,
elected
now I
president,
see the
this will
canned
become once
speech
again the single
that
greatest
he's
nation
been
in the
saying the
history
same
of the
thing
world.
over
Not
and
the
over.
disaster Barack Obama has imposed upon us.
Senator Rubio, thank you. I do want to bring in Governor Bush on this
Hold on
because
one
you
second.
made this.
Excuse me.
If you'd like to respond to
I think
economic...
he directly mentioned me and my record in there, so I think I get a chance to respond. You see, everybody, I want the people at home to think about this. That's what Washington, D.C. does. The drive-by shot at the beginning with incorrect and incomplete information, and then the memorized 25-second speech that is exactly what is divided.
Oh my God, Chris Christie just called him out on his speech.
See, Marco, the thing is this. When you're president of the United States, when you're a governor of a state, the memorized 30-second speech where you talk about how great America is at the end of it.
Oh
doesn't
my God,
solve
they
one
trying to
problem
kill
for one
Rubio.
person. They expect you to plow the snow. They expect you to get the schools open. And when the worst natural disaster in your state's history hits you, they expect you to rebuild their state, which is what I've done. None of that stuff happens on the floor of the United States Senate. It's a fine job. I'm glad you ran for it. But it does not prepare you for president of the United States.
Wow. Drop the mic on Marco
Chris, your state
Rubio.
got hit by a massive snowstorm 2 weeks ago. You didn't even want to go back. They had to shame you into going back. And then you stayed there for 36 hours, and then he left and came back to campaign.
Oh,
These are
wow.
the facts. Here's the bottom line. This notion that Barack Obama doesn't know what he's doing.
I mean,
is just
I
not
was
true.
wondering that
He
too.
knows
Chris
exactly
Christie,
what
you
the
the governor. So what are you doing?
Well, that's the reason why this campaign is so important. Because I think this
What are you doing for your state? You're supposed to be the governor of New Jersey. What are you doing?
We
Nothing.
are not facing a president that doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he is doing. That's why he's done the things he's done. That's why we have a president that passed Obamacare and the stimulus.
Okay, so
All
he's
this
not
damage
going
was done to Americans deliberate. This is a
answer
president
the
that's trying
question.
to redefine this country.
He's
That's
not
why this
going
election
to
is truly a
defend
referendum on our
himself
identity
against
as a nation, as a people.
Chris
Our future is
Christie.
at stake. This election is not about the past. It is about what kind of country this is going to be in the 21st century. And if we elect someone like Barack Obama, a Hillary Clinton, a Bernie Sanders, or anyone like that, our children are going to be the first Americans to inherit a diminished country that will not have an environment.
Governor Christie,
Chris, why don't you know what the shame is? You know what the shame is, Marco? The shame is that you would actually criticize somebody for showing up to work, plowing the streets, getting the trains run back on time, when you've never been responsible for that in your entire life.
He didn't want to go back.
And the fact is, I went back, it got done, and here's
Didn't
something.
want to go back.
I went back. Oh, so wait a second. Is now one of the skills you get as a United States Senator ESP also?
Chris, everybody,
Because I don't
you
think
said
it
you
is.
weren't going to go back.
The fact is,
He told everyone he was going to go back. They had to shame him into going back.
Marco,
And then when he decided to go back, he criticized the young lady, saying, "What am I
Marco,
supposed
you
to
know
go
what?
back with a mom?
By the way,
Clean up the flood?
it gets
Please
very,
don't go back."
Oh my
It gets
gosh,
very
this is
ugly
heated
when he gets
between
off his phone.
Chris Christie and Marco Rubio.
It's your record. It's not a talking point. It's a record.
Governor Bush, I'll mention your name so that you can come in on this. And I do want to bring you into this. I want to bring you in on this because you've made this central to your campaign right here in New Hampshire in the last couple of days. But 4 years ago, you said of Senator Rubio, he was ready to be vice president. You spoke of his experience as well. You said he has the fortitude to be a good president. But just this week, you said Senator Rubio accomplished, quote,
Why is everybody attacking Rubio?
How do you square the two?
Well, first of all, he said the exact same thing about me, that I would make a great vice presidential nominee when Mitt Romney was considering. I said the same thing about Marco. I think we were both right at the time, and Mitt picked somebody else. So let's move on to the 2016 race. Who has the leadership skills? Who has the leadership skills to lead? And I'm proud of the fact that I have 12 Medal of Honor recipients, over 30 admirals and generals that believe that I would be a steady hand as commander-in-chief, that I served as governor of the state of Florida, where we cut taxes and reduced government. I took on very powerful interests, forged consensus,
everybody
fought
talking
for my
about their
beliefs,
record.
implemented them, the state was better off. We had 8 hurricanes and 4 tropical storms in 16 months. The whole state was turned upside down. It required a steady hand. Leadership. You learn this. You learn it by doing it. It's not something that just show up and on the job do it. It's not to say.
Yeah, see, that's
let's
what
be
I'm
clear.
watching.
Marco Rubio is a gifted politician. And he may have the skills to be a president of the United States. But we've tried it the old way with Barack Obama, with soaring eloquence, and we didn't get a leader. We got someone who wants to divide the country up. The next president's going to have to forge consensus to bring about a set of common purposes so that we can move forward again.
We're going to continue with leadership now at Marco.
Senator Cruz, you are a first-term senator as well. Your opponents say you, like Senator Rubio, are not prepared to be commander-in-chief. You have talked tough about threats we face in the Mideast. It was reported just moments ago that the North Koreans test-launched an intercontinental ballistic missile. North Korea has nuclear weapons and conducted another nuclear test just last month. The missile that was launched is the kind the North Koreans hope could someday carry a nuclear weapon capable of reaching the United States. How would you respond if commander-in-chief to that launch?
Well, I would note initially the fact that we're seeing the launch, and we're seeing the launch from a nuclear North Korea, is the direct result of the failures of the first Clinton administration. The Clinton administration led the world in relaxing sanctions against North Korea. Billions of dollars flowed into North Korea in exchange for promises not to build nuclear weapons. They took those billions and built nuclear weapons. And I would note also the lead negotiator in that failed North Korea sanctions deal was a woman named Wendy Sherman, who Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton promptly recruited to come back to be the lead negotiator with Iran. So what we are seeing with North Korea is foreshadowing of where we will be with Iran. With respect to North Korea and what we should do now, one of the first things we should do is expand our missile defense capacity. We ought to put missile defense interceptors in South Korea. South Korea wants them. And one of the real risks of this launch, North Korea wants to launch a satellite. And one of the greatest risks to the satellite is they would place a nuclear device in the satellite. As they would orbit around the Earth, and as it got over the United States, they would detonate
Cruz,
that nuclear weapon and set off what's
folks.
called an EMP, an electromagnetic pulse. which could take down the entire electrical grid on the eastern seaboard, potentially killing millions.
Okay,
we need to
give him
harden
the
the grid to
ding, yeah.
defend ourselves, and we need missile defense to protect ourselves against North Korea.
Well, let me ask you this. If you were commander-in-chief tonight, would you have ordered the U.S. military to destroy that missile preemptively on the launch pad to prevent North Korea from becoming an even graver threat?
You know, at this point, I'm not going to speculate on that without the intelligence briefing that any commander-in-chief would have, knowing what exactly is there. One of the real problems.
Yeah, don't Ted Cruz look
Senator
like
Cruz, let me tell you this. You have talked tough about
Robin
the Mideast. You
Williams,
haven't gotten
one of
those
the characters
intelligence
for
briefings
Robin
about that.
Williams.
Why not tell us whether you would preemptively strike a missile on a launch pad that threatens the U.S.?
Actually, with respect, I have gotten the intelligence briefings on the Mideast. Those have been going on for many years. I haven't gotten the intelligence briefing tonight on what North Korea is doing because I'm here in New Hampshire. And when you're responding to an immediate incident, you need to know the intelligence of what's occurring. But what I was saying, look, it is qualitatively different dealing with a country once they have nuclear weapons. It's why you prevent them from getting nuclear weapons in the first place, because your hands are somewhat tied once they have nukes. It's why this Iranian nuclear deal is so catastrophic, and it's why I pledged on the very first day in office to rip to shreds this Iranian nuclear deal, so we're not sitting here in 5 years wondering what to do about an Iranian missile launch when they have nuclear weapons. The stakes are too high for that.
Okay, Senator Cruz, I will say that missile has been sitting there for quite some time, and they have had eyes on it.
Marco, just to clarify on that point, because he's right. And one more thing to point, it is standard procedure of the United States to shoot down those missiles once launched if they pose a threat to civilians, land.
Senator Rubio, I'm talking about a preemptive strike
Well,
on the launch pad.
No, I understand, and not, but I think it's important to note that it is, and Senator Cruz I think was alluding to this as well. It is the standard procedure of the United States, if in fact those missiles pose a threat to land, civilians, our allies, or any of our assets, to shoot down that missile in mid-flight. I understand your question was about a preemptive strike, but my point is that there is in place now contingencies to avoid any sort of that strike from going errant and destroying any assets of the United States or implicating or hurting any of our allies or any of our assets in the region.
Okay, thank you, Senator Rubio. Governor Kasich, how would you respond to tonight's launch?
Well, we've got to step up the pressure. And by the way, I've got to say, after being here, every one of my 100 town hall meetings in New Hampshire were a lot more fun than what I saw here today. We're so much more positive. Look, in terms of North Korea, Martha, we have to make sure that we intercept both the ships and their aircraft, because what they're trying to do is to proliferate this very dangerous material along with the technology, the instruments that can be used for mass destruction. That's what I worry about the most, frankly,
so
is
that's why they're
non-state actors, people who don't have a uniform, people who don't have a country, who can spread this, who are not subject to the mutual assured defense. In other words, you strike us, we strike you. Some of these radicals, they don't care about that. That's what I worry about for my children and for their children going forward. So we have to be very tough, and we should tell the Chinese, look, if you're not going to do this, ballistic missile defense to Koreans, ballistic missile defense to Japan, and by the way, we should impose the same kind of sanctions on North Korea that we imposed on Iran, because they're able to shift money, they're able to send money and receive money. We've got to be very tough on this, and frankly, I think we could have let the Japanese know that if you want to take action on that missile that's rising, you want to take action, you will have our support if that's what you think is the best thing to do. We cannot continue to be weak in the face of the North Koreans, or frankly, in the entire rest of the world.
Martha, this relates to strategic patience of the Obama administration. They come up with these great marketing terms, and what they do is they pull back, and voids are filled, and they're now filled by asymmetric threats of terror as well as nation states on the run. The next president of the United States is going to have to get the United States back in the game, and if a preemptive strike is necessary to keep us safe, then we should do it.
Thank you, Governor Bush.
Wow, does somebody just agree with President Obama?
With North Korea, would you consider military action, and how far would you let them go?
Well, let me say a couple of things. First of all, Marco said earlier on that President Obama knows exactly what he's doing, like we have this president that really knows. I disagree respectfully with Marco. I think we have a president who, as a president, is totally incompetent and he doesn't know what he's doing. I think he has no idea what he's doing, and our country is going to hell. So I just want to say we disagree on that. Is that okay?
Yeah, I got mentioned. Can I respond?
And I'd like you to finish the question, please.
As to North Korea, we have tremendous has been just sucked out of our country by China. China says they don't have that good a control over North Korea. They have tremendous control. I deal with the Chinese all of the time. I do tremendous business. The largest bank in the world is in one of my buildings in Manhattan.
Donald Trump always talking about, the TV pause. He always talking about what he has and... Yep. What happened? They going to commercial? So Donald Trump was just talking, and he was talking about what he has, and that's about it, on how he would negotiate.
The same is happening in the Asia Pacific region with accommodations to North Korea.
With China.
As an example. And Donald's absolutely right. China does have a lot of influence over North Korea, and he should be leveraging our relationship with the Chinese to ensure that North Korea no longer has access to the resources that have allowed them to be a country that has no economy to develop long-range missiles already capable of reaching the west coast of the United States potentially.
Thank you very much, Senator Rubio. Governor Bush, another problem facing the commander-in-chief right now is that North Korea is currently detaining an American college student. What would you do to get that college student back home?
Well, first of all, it's interesting that happened literally days when this hostage release took place within Iran. A day or 2 days afterwards, North Korea took a held American student hostage. I think it's when we send a signal of weakness when we're negotiating to release people that committed crimes in our country for people that didn't commit crimes that are held hostage in Iran. We saw the shameful treatment of our sailors, that this creates weakness, sends a signal of weakness around the world. The next president of the United States is going to have to get back in the game where the United States word matters.
Okay, the GOP debate is boring. Officially boring. So I am going to...
And I think John is right about this. There are crippling sanctions that are available as it relates to the 2 or 3 banks that North Korea uses
continue to listen to it.
illicit trade. And we ought to reestablish those
To them attacking one another.
because of their actions that they're taking right now as it relates to
Okay.
this capability.
Bye-bye.